Hello and welcome to Vivid View. I am EHILIZ, your host. Vivid View,
say and do it.
This is an interactive program. It is geared towards development, and the practicality is our utmost desire. Now, before I introduce the notable guests in our midst to do justice to this, I always like to take a background of what we're going to study, which is on corruption and fraud. And corruption is defined as the offering, giving, receiving, and soliciting, directly or indirectly, of anything of value that will influence or improperly the other party. And this corruption can be done by kickbacks and bribery. Now, we'll take a break. When we come back, I introduce the guests to do justice to this topic. Vivid View,
say and do it.
Welcome back. Now, I also want to say that this corruption and bribery is also found or practiced in both private and public sectors, educational sectors, non-governmental sectors, artisans, and so on. Having said this, I would like to introduce the man in our midst, and he is a notable man. I always call a businessman. He is the head of operation of Sovereignty Asset. Let's welcome Akinyobo Ojo.
Vivid View,
say and
do it.
I also have an educationist, educational consultant in our midst with mind developers. Let's make welcome Wills Diamond.
Vivid View,
say and do it.
Thank you. So my question goes to Ojo. How do these corrupt and fraudulent practices affect the private and public sectors?
Yeah, I love your definition of corruption anyway. For me, I have a different definition.
Yeah.
When you talk about corruption, people think government officials stealing money, politicians taking money. Corruption has gone beyond that. When you are morally weak, you are corrupt. And when you talk about act of corruption,
so it's not only embezzling of more funds.
That is what comes
yes.
what to people's mind.
Exactly.
When you talk about corruption, people taking government official, minister taking money. No, when you are morally weak, you are corrupt person. And these are the act of corruption to me. When you are disobeying law and order, when you are in a junction, you see traffic light, you are supposed to wait. You don't wait. You are a corrupt person.
Good.
When you are stealing from your mother's pot, or you are stealing everywhere, that is corruption. When you belong to a member of court, you are a corrupt person. When you have a sexual misbehavior, you are a corrupt person. When you are dressing indecently to expose your body, you are morally bankrupt and you are a corrupt person.
Yeah. That is true. I was just asking, you know, I was just being carried away by what your explanations to this. Because I said, how does it affect government and private sectors? And you have just said it that that's not only when you steal money, in quote, that the person is corrupt. So you have already mellowed it down to even private, to private sectors. Madam, please, can you have your contribution?
Okay, firstly, I would like to say that corruption is not a Nigerian term. You know, because yes, you hear a lot of people say Nigerians are corrupt, and I tend to disagree with that.
It's a borrowed language.
Yes, because they probably taught us, and then so they are also reaping from what they've taught the country. But basically, corruption is broad, just like my brother said here, is a very broad term. And it does not only affect the government sector, like we would say, but it affects basically the youth of this generation. Because I know if I'm going to go back to the Bible,
that's why we're laying emphasis. It affects the youth.
Yes. You know, when we say, when the foundation is faulty, what can the people do, so to say? So now, when you look at the youth, you find they are the foundation of a nation. And so it has crept in into that sector.
Exactly.
And it affects them in different areas. Not only the aspect of money, just like he said, but in other areas, starting from the home. So it's really a broad-based issue that has really eaten deep into our country. So that's what I would say for now.
Now, like I was defining, I mentioned also that the corruption didn't affect only private and public, it also affect educational sector. So what do you have to say concerning educational sector, the corruption?
Yeah, the huge corruption in the education sector is what has taken us to this level where we are producing half-baked students all about. Today, students go to school, they want to get mark, they don't want to go to classroom. How do you want to reconcile that? A lecturer want to sell handout, collect money from the sale, you will not come to the class. How do you want to reconcile that? I was reading a point this afternoon. In medical schools, the equipment are no longer there. So how do you define
their practicals?
So this, you are making a doctor that cannot examine the patients.
Too sad.
Those are the effect of corruption of the society. And as I said, people prefer now, taking a parent, your son or your daughter want to write WAEC. Instead of allow the child to sit down and read, you are taking that child to a special center. That is corruption.
You're referring to the parents now, yeah, because there is also
from the angle of the parents.
Yes.
So you are right from the one you said the idea to your child that you can get anything you want without struggling for it.
And that is not love. You're not showing love to that child at all.
You are killing the future because there's a limit to how far that child will go. When you come out from the university with a half-baked certificate, there's a limit to how you can go, unless you work in your daddy's company. Even when you work in your daddy's company, there's a limit to how you can go, because definitely you will not know what you are supposed to do at a particular point in time. Those are the effects of corruption.
What's your take to this?
Well, I'm going to say something here. You know, most times we tend to deal with the problem from the top. Like I said, it's from the roots.
Bottom,
yes. Yeah. Now, before you go to university, you probably go through the primary school or the nursery school. And then you find the corruption taking place right from that point.
Yes.
You know, a child doesn't do well in school, in the primary, or even nursery, because I see that a lot, because I work in the educational sector, so I see that a lot. A child doesn't do well in the nursery class, and I say, no, I don't want my child to repeat. This child must be promoted. And so you see a child in primary 4, primary 3, he cannot even identify a 2-letter word, a 3-letter word, and the parents don't mind. As long as, okay, I have the money to get this child through this system, you go ahead and do it. And then you have the teachers also playing along. You understand what I'm saying? Well, the parents want this child to be promoted, fine, I promote this child. And no teacher is insisting that, listen, there's a need for this child to be educated. This child should know how to read. And then insist, but you don't have that happening. As long as a teacher gets money or gift from a parent, you know, you pamper the child through that system. So the child has started the process of being corrupt or going through the corruption process.
Exactly.
And it follows the child through to the secondary school, through to the university. And when the child graduates, we have a messed up individual. We cannot do anything. But all the person knows how to do is, okay, fine, use what I have to get what I want, because I have the money, I have the body, I have what it takes, so fine, it takes me through what I need in life.
So invariably, what we're saying is just a moment. What we're saying is that this corruption has affected the educational sector is not only the tertiary education.
No.
Primary, post-primary, and tertiary.
Definitely,
education.
it starts from there. It starts from there.
Yes.
Yeah, what I wanted to add is this: you cannot blame the parent for such act of maybe you want to promote student to jump class. The school's proprietors to have to take full responsibility. That is equally corruption. When you know that a child is not qualified to be in the next class, and the parent come to you, forcing it on you, that you should put.
Sorry, sir. May I cut in here?
Okay.
I don't really want to apportion blame so much.
No, we're not apportioning blame here, but we need to know where the problem is. Charity begins at home. I remember growing up with my parents, you know, and I'll find my father starting off with the Queen Primer. You sit down there and you start your IT 8. that is from home.
Yeah.
So even if the teacher doesn't teach me IT8, I mean, there's somebody doing it at home. So what I take from home, take me to school. So if my parents are not committed to education, why should the teacher be? For goodness sake, the teacher is working for his pay. So the parents have a lot to play. They have a lot of role to play in this.
Exactly.
So if a child is going to do well in school, it starts from home. What is the emphasis on education? Are the parents interested, or they are too busy with their businesses and jobs and like, okay, the teacher, go ahead. I mean, if you're not concerned about something, why should I be concerned about it? Yeah. That's the system we operate in here.
On a more serious note, we really have to, parents really need to sit down properly and talk to their children. If they really want their children to have meaning in their lives. And then we are talking about students. You students to listen to us, both viewers at home. If you want to have meaning to your life, sit down in your classroom or at home, burn the candle and pass your exam. When you see that, I don't think any lecturer will come and say, if you don't give me 100,000, I will not pass
Definitely.
you. When you read your book. And in fact, you won't even have any fear of passing your exams. But what we're having now that our youth nowadays, some of them are fond of doing wrongs, leaving the education to do wrongs or for whatever. But please, want to really have meaning in your life, sit down and burn your candle. What about governmental organization? Example is church and mosques. Do they also, this corruption and fraud, do they also affect them?
Yeah, the corruption equally affects non-governmental organizations like church and the mosque. Today, the church has actually lost the moral foundation, the moral value. Church no longer teach morals. So church should go back to the basis. Because at the end of the day, as he said, charity begins at home. Yes. From the home to the church, back to the society. Every single individual has a religion. Either you are a mosque, you are a Christian, you are a Buddhist, you are Babalawo or whatever.
Exactly.
So people should start to teach moral. Because at the end of the day, the church will equally be breeding corrupt people. Yeah, because emphasis is being led now more on money, prosperity. Yeah, church has become a business rather than teaching the basis. In those days, we talk about catechism that does not have chin, rather than the bag that move from one village to another to preach the gospel.
Okay. Well, the first thing I want to look at is this: who are the people on the pulpit? Because nowadays we have babies on the pulpit. Okay, we don't have people that are skilled, that are schooled. We don't have people that are passionate. You know, you don't give what you don't have. Exactly. If you're not passionate about seeing people turn out right in life, you can't give it. So if I'm passionate about money, when I go on the pulpit, I talk to you about money. If I'm passionate about children, when I go there, my message will be based on that. So now the question is this, the issue is this. The people on the pulpit, the mosque, the church, there's no passion. They're not really interested in the youth, so to say. You know, I'm more concerned about who is going to give to me, who am I going to talk about that's going to be so happy with me, and then, I mean, dole out the fund. You're not interested about this girl, how she's going to turn out in life. This boy that's going this way, how do we bring this boy back on track? So if the churches and the mosque go back to their drawing boards and say, fine, we need to do something about this society. Our youth are not being helped. Let us start doing something as a church, as a mosque, as a non-government organization. Let's start doing something to also help in turning out useful youth that will be a blessing to the society in the future.
Because our future, thank you so much, because our future lies in the hands of these youths.
Definitely.
If there must be Nigeria tomorrow, it's in the hands of the youth. If there will be in any country that will survive tomorrow, it's in the hands of the youth. And it's almost a global issue.
Yes, it is.
When you talk about the youth, almost it's a global issue.
Yes,
so we really need, even we, the adults as the parents, really need to have much role to play to help them. Thank you so much. I quite appreciate your contributions. Now, finally, how do we fight against fraud and corruption, especially as it affects the youths?
Yeah, everybody has a role to play, and every hands must be on deck, right from home, the youth themselves, the society, the school, and the government. So it's a whole lot of EU.
It's a collective effort.
It's a collective effort.
Yeah.
Parents should lead by example. The youth themselves should know. I used to say you should change the slogan that youth are the leaders of tomorrow. No, exactly. Youth are the leaders now.
Oh, not only tomorrow.
No.
That's good.
They
That's good.
should change that mentality. And our political structure too, youth should get themselves involved now. Not to wait for these elders that does not have your future at heart to determine your fate.
Did you hear that?
So,
Okay.
So invariably, your future lies in your hands. They say the way you make your bed is the way you lie on it. So,
Okay, I would probably say one of the ways to go about curbing corruption is to empower the youth.
Okay, that's
You
a good
know,
point.
in terms of encouraging them to attend forums, you know, you have very educational forums where issues are being discussed
Yeah.
to help their mind. Because if your mind is right, your life will be right. That's how it works.
That's
so
true.
if you have a right mindset, you will view things rightly. But if you have a corrupt mindset, everything is corrupted when it comes to the way you view things. So the youth should be empowered. And this empowerment doesn't have to come from only the youth. I mean, the society should help out here. Government should invest money in helping and empowering the youth. You know, you have youth that are creative. I mean,
Training and
encourage.
seminars, as you
Yes.
said. Yeah.
Encourage their creativity. You know, that's one of the things about the Western world, so to say. Every child that has an idea is helped to fulfill that idea. So the same should apply in our own country, Nigeria. We have youth that are so creative.
Yes.
I mean, help them to build on their creativity, showcase their talent. That way, it will help them to channel their energy right. And aside from that, the association matters.
Okay.
If you associate with the wrong people, you turn out wrong in life. Youth should choose whom they associate with. They are successful people who did not become successful through corrupt means. Emulate them. Ask questions. Because one thing I believe in is life, when you ask questions, you get answers.
Of course, of course.
And then
That's
you
true.
turn out right as well. So that aspect is also very, very important. And one of them I would say again is this. You know, there are some youth that are also into businesses. They should have access. Banks should help them. Give them interest-free loans. I mean, no collateral. Encourage them to build on their ideas. When they do this, it will help them to stay right, to stay straight in life. That's one of the ways we can
stay away from corruption.
Yes, that's one of the ways.
Thank you. We'll take a break now. When we come back, we are entertaining some questions from the audience. Vivid View.
Say and do it.
Welcome back. We're still on the topic corruption and fraud. So we go to the audience now for their questions.
My name is Joseph Tiza. My question is going to Mr. Akin Ojo. Sir, you said there's something concerning lecturers and students, that the students have to do their bit in order to get their exams passed. And now I've done my part as a student. And on the other side, the lecturer is saying, if I don't buy the handouts, or if I don't compromise with, bribing him, he won't pass me. What do I do, or who do I run to?
Let me tell you something. No lecturer can wake up to intentionally fail you. This lecturer, they know you, they know your capacity. They know who and who are looking for grade free of charge. When you read when we're in the school in those days, when you finish your exam, you go back home. You don't know what happened. When you come back, they show you your result. But today, when you finish your exam, you stay back to go and see lecturer. In our days, we don't know lecturer's office. You don't have business with lecturer's office. All you need to do is to wake up from your hostel, get to classroom by 8 o'clock. You finish, you go back and read your book. So if you sit for an exam and you write very well and the lecturer knows that you write, he will never fail you. The only thing he can do is to try to reduce your grade. And if he tries to fail you, if you take it up with the school authority, be bold enough to take it up, they will call another lecturer from another school to go and mark your script.
Exactly, that's all I was saying.
It happened in a school in Ondo State. I won't mention the name of the school. Okay. The lady sat for an exam, she got 70, the lecturer decided to fail her. They called a lecturer from University of Ife to remand the script.
Exactly.
The lecturer got sacked
for that.
So
yes.
those things can still happen. But because you yourself, you are not ready to do what is right, that's why you run back to your lecturer's office after it takes.
And they capitalize on that.
They capitalize on
more money.
And that's how they study you, they know you.
Okay.
My name is MC Glad. I have this question. I'm directing it to Mr. Joe. I want to ask, will corruption ever stop in Nigeria? And then what is the future of Nigeria in this corrupt state?
Will corruption stop in Nigeria? The answer is yes. And it begins with you. You see, as an individual,
yes.
You see, when they gave me a letter for this program, they told me 10. And I got here at 9:45. I belong to ICON, Chartered Institute of Accountants of Nigeria. When ICON said their lecture start 10, if you get there 5 minutes after 10, you won't get seat. If all of us here should decide that I'm not going to take bribe, I'm not going to dress indecently.
But what is right, yes.
If all of us individually, because collectively we cannot cop corruption, but it starts from you. And if all of us were 20 and you change, this person changes, then that would be the end of corruption.
That's the eradication of corruption.
So we
So it's possible. Viewers at home, that for posterity's sake, the youth globally, not only in Nigeria, must do away from any appearances of fraud and corruption. We know the practice might be obvious and maybe it might be increasing, but if we say no to it as individual, we will be able to make it. There are prices to pay when we want to do this, quite all right. I am not, I'm mindful of that, but I'm saying that if we start, just as Ojo said, if we start here, you, me, start this practice, others will join us, and Nigeria will be a better place for all of us to do it. Having said this, Mr. Ojo, please, your final words.
Yes, I want to take it for where you stop. If all of us should say it and do it.
As my slogan says.
Yes, Ehiliz is doing her own here.
Keep it
view.
Yeah.
Spending money. Nobody is paying her for that. And if 20 people should rise up in Lagos and be doing the same thing, the message will be spread across. And all of us will know.
Good. Thank you, audience. Then let's listen to hear Ms. Williams.
Okay, what I would say is this, that Nigeria is a great nation and we have great people. When we decide to do something, we do it.
Exactly.
So we have to decide that corruption should be a thing of the past in Nigeria. And if everybody decides to do it, we will do it, and we can do it.
Yes.
Thank you.
That is true. We will do it. We will, and you can do it. Because this Western world, people run to now. Go to UK, US. Some years ago, they have worse problem now that we're experiencing now. But somebody or some group of people came up to say, no, we're going to fight against it. It's not proper. And today, this corruption is almost completely eroded from the countries. So we can as well achieve that in Nigeria if we say yes to ourselves. Let us borrow that word from President of America, Obama. If we say yes, we can really do that. Viewers at home, I advise you again to take 5 minutes to reflect on the topic we have just heard. And I want to say that we are coming to the end of this program for today. Keep watching this program, same time, same station.
Biggie Baba